There are fewer than 2 weeks to go until the transfer window slams shut, and it would be fair to say that Arsenal have had an interesting summer so far. On the one hand, Andrea Berta and co. have done incredibly well to make 6 first-team additions and bring in superstars like Victor Gyökeres and Martin Zubimendi. Yet, on the other hand, fans are still crying out for the club to address the team's issues with creativity and the lack of threat off the left. Arsenal's Bukayo Saka, Arsenal's Christian Mosquera, Arsenal's Martin Zubimendi, Arsenal's Noni Madueke, Arsenal's Ethan Nwaneri, and Arsenal's Miles Lewis-Skelly lineup. Moreover, it now looks like the Gunners won't be getting their hands on the player who could have solved those problems for them, Eberechi Eze. However, in better news, the club are now being linked with another sensational talent, someone who could help Mikel Arteta forget about the Palace star. While Arsenal have been linked with Eze in the past, the reports touting him for a return to the Emirates really picked up earlier this summer. Mega money deals, controversial moves, and big-name flops. This is the home of transfer news and opinion across Football Fancast. In fact, some stories even claim that he had his heart set on a move to the club, but in recent days and weeks, everything has changed, and now it looks increasingly likely he'll be moving to Tottenham Hotspur. However, while missing out on such an incredibly entertaining player is far from ideal, it now appears as if the Gunners are moving to bring in someone who could help Arteta and co. forget about him. At least that is according to a recent report from Graham Bailey, who has claimed that Arsenal are once again very interested in Rodrigo. The journalist has revealed that the North Londoners held fresh talks with the players' camp last weekend, and that while they need to make room in the squad, they are ready to push for him. However, while other stories from this summer have claimed he would cost around £78 million, Bailey states that the Gunners would ideally bring him in on loan this summer. It could be a complicated transfer that eventually requires a considerable fee, but even then, Rodrigo would be more than worth it, and the perfect player to help Arteta and the fans forget about Eze. The most significant reason that signing Rodrigo will help Arsenal forget all about Eze this summer is simply his stature and achievements in the game. For example, while the Palace ace is a big name in England and played a pivotal role in the club's FA Cup triumph last season, the Brazilian is undoubtedly the bigger name, not only because he's been an important player for Real Madrid over the years, but because he has helped them to win all there is to win in the club. Despite still being just 24 years old, the world-class superstar, as he was dubbed by former teammate and Ballon d'Or winner Luka Modric, already has 2 La Liga titles, 2 Champions Leagues, and a host of other trophies on his CV. In 64 Champions League appearances, totaling 3,883 minutes, the former Santos gem has scored 25 goals and provided 14 assists. That comes out to a staggering average of a goal involvement every 1.64 games, or every 99.56 minutes, which is only made all the more impressive by the fact he had to play out of his preferred position off the left for much of his time in Spain. Moreover, of those goals, 8 have come in the knockout rounds, and another 8 have been game-winning strikes, so he can be relied upon to turn up when it really matters. In short, while the Eagles ace is a star of the Premier League, the Osasco-born Dynamo is a worldwide superstar. Therefore, his arrival at the Emirates would almost certainly go some way in helping the fans and Arteta forget that they didn't land the Englishman.